before we do that, actually, I want to give Catherine the opportunity to come back on something Jez said about the limitations of ISO 14001 and the fact that he said it's too narrow to sort of deal with those upstream and downstream impacts. What's your comeback on that?
I think Jez probably summarised it at the end when he was talking about, your core activities, and that's really what 14001 is designed to do. What you usually find is, as a company uses 14001 and their system becomes more mature, they then do start rolling that out through the supply chain, and all organisations who are involved in tendering for work will find that quite often, the requirement to have some form of management system is on a supplier tender, a supplier questionnaire, and I think that's how 14001 is looking sort of at the downstream and potentially upstream as well.
Sure. And David, does your company intend to look at Scope 3 impacts?
Scope 3 is the one where it's everything else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are. I don't know. I'd have to ask the person that does it all for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
We're using 14001 and hope to be certified by the end of this, by the middle of this year. Mm-hmm. And I think it's actually the right tool. It's the tool that people that are serious about their environmental management would appear to use. So that's what we're doing. The BBC as a whole is aligned, and we're just going for certification to take it one step more. But on the scopes, the scope 3 for us would be would include the what our consumers' footprint is in using our products. Is that have I got that right?
Yeah.
So we will. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It's
I'm not an expert
job,
on this. Just because it says I'm environment something on my business card doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. But yes, we will include that if it's appropriate to do so. But a lot of the time we'll be leaving it out. We're not going to include the person switching the light on to read their copy of Radio Times. But we will take an interest in the online energy usage of the servers that are being used for our online publications.
Sure. Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? We've got time for a couple. You have anyone? Yes, in the front row. If you can say your name and where you're from.
I'm Rebecca from the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors.
Do speak up as well.
David, I'm just wondering, could you elaborate a bit further on your zero bin policy in the offices?
Sorry, could you say that again, or can someone repeat it for me?
Could you elaborate a bit further on your zero bin usage in the offices? How is that employed?
Sure. Yeah. We basically have recycling points in the office around the place. So a hub where the coffee and the photocopiers are, and in that hub there is the full range of recycling bins that you'd expect to find. In addition to that, scattered around the main parts of the office are paper recycling bins, because that's the most commonly used one. And then we took away all the under-desk bins. So someone sitting at their office desk hasn't got the option to put their sandwich wrapper or their Coke can or their screwed up bit of A4 just in the bin under the desk. Instead, they have to make the trek to the appropriate bin and segregate it themselves. And that has two impacts. One, it ensures that there is very much less contamination, because people do want to put it in the right bin. That people do have a sort of conscience as to where they put it. But the second thing is it actually does reduce waste. And we combined that with we got rid of nearly all of our print devices. It used to be that everyone would have a print device on their desk. We got rid of all of those, and we just have central printing devices which default to duplex, and which will only print out when you swipe your ID card on them to collect your printing. And so that has also reduced the waste enormously, because it's halved our usage of office paper.
Okay, thank you, David. Any other questions from our audience? No? We do? Excellent. Again, if you could say your name when the microphone comes to you and which organisation you're with.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rosemary Horry from the University of Derby. Following on from the bin issue, we had bins removed, and we now find that particularly academics will just keep their rubbish by the side of their desk or on the floor and then take it at a later time during the day. Did you find that it actually caused issues of littering within the office?
Well, we have a clear desk policy because half of our desks are shared desks anyway, which is another way of reducing our footprint because we actually have smaller offices than we used to have. It's entirely up to an individual if they want to collect their waste through the day. But because we not only have a clear desk policy, which means at the end of the day everyone's desk has to be empty, but we also, when we moved building 2 years ago, we took away personal storage. So no one has got a desk drawer, no one has a stack of filing stuff on the table. Everyone has a locker, and that locker, and it seems extraordinary really, but that locker is that big, and it is the other end of the floor. And the consequence of the inconvenience of not having your own personal storage space is that people stop using paper. And so we combined it with a drive to really improve the technology solutions that people have. And that has helped to cut down on that problem. So actually, you don't walk around and see a place with litter all over the place. It's just that people are generating less of it in the first place.
Thank you. Any other questions from the floor? Yes, in the front row here.
Well, it's not about being. Okay.
Thank God for that.
Well, in fact, I have two questions. I suppose that the reason to charge the car parking was primarily to decrease the amount of the cars coming to the office. And did you have a decrease on this? And the second question, it would be not perhaps more effective if you you reward the people who comes by public transport or car sharing or bicycles. Okay.
Okay, thank you. To answer the first part of the question first, yes, we moved from a building where we had 250 parking spaces into a building that only had 60 parking places. And the biggest controversy of the whole move was to those really, really important people that had a parking space, because they were so important. They had this fantastic status symbol of a parking place, and there's no way they were going to give that up. And it really was a big problem, because that's all that anyone was interested in, was, can I keep my parking place? And so we actually hit on the idea of charging for it as a way to take away instantly the status symbol of that parking space, because they had to pay commercial rates to park. And the fact that then we said, what are we going to do with the money? And we said, let's stick it in the environment pot, because after all, there is an environmental angle to this. But it wasn't the driver to us charging. It's just that that's a kind of neat closing of the circle. As far as the alternative of rewarding people that don't drive, well, those people that don't drive, they can get their interest-free season ticket loan. We subscribe to the Cycle to Work scheme, so they can get half-price bicycles. I've got one of those. We provide covered and secured bike lockers and showers and so on. We have bike doctors that come in every couple of months. So we do what we can to support those coming on bicycle and public transport. BBC runs a car share scheme. We have free shuttle buses into the West End. So the whole focus is on everything other than the car. And we also did away with our company car scheme 2 years ago. So actually no one in the company has a company car. It doesn't matter if they're salespeople or chief execs or anything.
Thank you, David. Do we have one more time for another question from anybody? Okay. If
Tom,
not, then
I was just
go on,
going to make
Catherine,
a
yes.
comment, Tom, and probably a sort of upside of the fantastic work they've been doing at BBC Worldwide is that all their staff must be incredibly fit as well, and healthy, you know, in terms of providing bicycles, and I'm imagining people walking up and down to bins, and, you know, and so in terms of the welfare of the staff, that's, I suppose, an added bonus, really, as much as anything else.
We've still got our share of flabby people, I think.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap up there. Please join me in thanking our panel today, Catherine, David and Jez. Thank you.